Never count this deck out. Why? Because with the new incantation support that does come out in Savage Strike, it can be a lot more powerful than what it is right now. But looking in the present instead of the future, I think a gift for you guys is just saying that this deck, no matter how much of the odds are against it, you can't net cross this deck out of the competition, being able to prevent the opponent from using those extra deck monsters effects and sometimes even obliterating them before they can even get a summon. Yes, I just made a huge Christmas pun, but I know you guys like it. I'm the Cali Effect, and if you guys want to see more videos like this, then go and destroy that subscribe button. But more importantly, go ahead and that notification bell because, well, we just too strong. I also want to give a mad shout out to every single one of my Patreons. Without you guys, videos like this would not be possible. Mad shout out to our newest Patreon, Rico Dunaway. Take advantage of all those rewards, man. Make sure you join that Discord and hit one of us up, and we'll actually add you to the Patreon specific group. Without further ado, I present to you a competitive Necros deck profile for this format. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so before we get into this deck profile, let's talk about those stats. I think that Necros is a very, very fun deck to play, and once the Savage Strike set comes out, be on the lookout for that update. Once it does, I think that the deck will be a lot more competitive than what it is now. Right now, I'll put it at a high-end local level event, probably low-end regional level event, just because it's missing a couple of cards. But don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, I still have some sauce that I know you guys would love, as well as those budget options that you will need in case for some reason you can afford the entire Necros core, but not the more expensive cards. Let's start off with the monster so you can get well acquainted to how this deck operates. We run 3 copies of arguably the best Necros monster in the deck because of its utility. While it is on the field, he can tribute monsters on your hand and field to allow you to draw cards, which is essential for digging deeper into your deck, especially seeing that this deck can put quite a few monsters on the board that just don't really do anything past their initial use. The next thing is that you can discard him and banish a Necros card in your graveyard to end your opponent's battle phase. And the reason why that's so useful is because there's a lot of times where you put yourself in a situation where you have very low life points, and being able to stop your opponent from attacking you for a turn is kind of critical to being able to stay in the game. So this deck can play in really low life point situations and be okay, because we essentially have 3 built-in battle faders in the form of being able to draw cards and gain its advantage as well. 1 copy of Necros, a Unicorn. This is a card that I really wish was just at more than 1. Its first effect allows you to negate all monsters on the field that were special summoned from the extra deck, and that is critical against so many decks. Just being able to lock them completely out of their extra deck, they can still summon those monsters, but their effects are negated, can be critical to winning that game. He also allows you to discard to special summon or add. He allows you to add a Necros card by discarding him to your hand. That effect is hardly used because being able to get him out to your side of the field or ritual summoning him to your side of the field is just so much value, because the cards that you're sending from your extra decks to the graveyard to summon him often gains you advantage as well. 1 copy of Necros, a Trishula. All the ritual monsters or all the Necros monsters have multiple effects. I think you guys are catching on by that. What Necros, a Trishula does is that when he is summoned, you can banish a card from your opponent's hand, field, and graveyard. Now, unlike the Synchro Trishula, your opponent actually has to control monsters on their hand, field, and graveyard to activate and resolve this effect, but it's actually critical. This card can be a game winner on its own, being able to disrupt your opponent's resources so many times, especially seeing that you can ritual summon this card 2 or 3 times in 1 game. The next is 1 copy of Necros Embryonic. I wish we could play 2 copies of this card at least. This is your searcher for the deck. Also, when it's special summon, it can get rid of your opponent's extra deck monsters. If we were to be able to play more than 1 copy of this card, there are some really cool combos with this, and you being able to special summon a Shooting Star Dragon for free to your side of the field, but unfortunately it is limited to 1. Only 2 copies of Necros, a Colossalus. This card is phenomenal, but I just didn't feel that you needed 3. The best value of this card is that not only can he, like, his on-field effect is very powerful, being able to negate an opponent's special summon monster's effect and turn his attack to 0, 2300 defense, so he's really hard to get over, but his best value is that he can be a monster or a Necros ritual spell card on demand, which is important for you to be able to activate and resolve your incantation cards. I just didn't feel that more than 2 was necessary. It's just a really good card, but I just don't think you need 3 in this particular deck, especially seeing how searchable this deck is. 1 copy of Necros of Decisive Armor. This guy is actually pretty good for giving your Necro monsters 1,000 attack. You'd be surprised on how often you're going to need that 1,000 attack to go. He's also a 3,300 body, so if you ever need a huge monster on your side of the field, he comes in clutch that can destroy face down cards. Lastly is the guy that I actually cut the Colossalus out for, is 1 copy of Necros of Gungnir. This guy is just really underrated, or this gal is really underrated. She's essentially a Zodiac Dryad. During either player's turn, you can discard a card to destroy a card on the field. So it's like, oh my. It provides you disruption on both players' turns, but another great thing is that you can discard her to make a Necros monsters unaffected or can't be destroyed by battle or card effects for that turn. So using this on a Necros, a Unicorn, is like, you're almost guaranteed that that monster will stay on the field, and then you can continue to apply pressure on your opponent. That's it for the Necros monsters. We run quite a few Incantations. I run 3 copies of Incantation Talismandra. This is the guy that adds ritual monsters from your deck to your hand. I'm really like, in the process, I'm stuck between running 2 or 3. I feel like 3 is really solid because it's a guy that if I do have in my hand, I can always bring another one out from my deck through other Incantation monsters. But then you kind of feel like if you have multiple Incantation monsters in your hand, it's kind of a brick. So I'm still playtesting with the ratios. 3 copies of Incantation Candle. This is the one that gets you ritual monsters from your deck, or ritual spells from your deck to your hand. So that one's pretty useful. And then I run 2 copies of Pencil Plume. This is the one that gets the ritual monsters from your graveyard to your hand. It's also a level 3, so that comes in handy a lot. And 2 copies of Incantation Bookstone. Part of me wants to run 2 of every one, throw in another Colossalus, and then maybe a Senju or something like that, and still keep it at 44 cards. But so far, this Incantation engine is working, and once we get the new Incantation cards in Savage Strike, this deck will be a ton better. Expect an update on that because it's just so powerful. Bookstone is like, it's good. All of them are good, to be honest with you guys. You're gonna use them for not only Tribute Fodder, but for ritual summoning, and they come in clutch a lot. I'm telling you, they just come in clutch. I really could spend hours talking about this card, but we're gonna move on. Just basically, they allow you to get resources from your graveyard or your deck to your hand. 3 copies of Manju of the 10,000 Hands. This is the only Manju monster I feel you need. While Senju does add Colossus, which could add any ritual spell card, you only need 6 normal summons in this deck. Running more than 6 will give you more opportunities where you'll draw multiple bricks in your hand, and I don't want to do that. The reason why we run a high Incantation engine is because this card, it's really powerful and will win you games. 3 copies of Zaborg, the Mega Monarch. If there was ever a deck where Zaborg, the Mega Monarch, is most powerful in, it has to be this one. Seriously, because this deck has so many targets for Zaborg, it is insane. You can resolve this card multiple times. The Incantations just fit so perfectly with it, saying that it does give you a light monster to be tributed. This card is insane, allowing you just to manipulate however the game is played and destroy their extra deck at the same time. And even if you don't hit their extra deck, hitting your cards in your extra deck is just fire. Next for the spells, oops, that's it for the monsters. Let's get on to the spells. 2 copies of Necros Mirror. I love this card because it can banish Necros monsters from your graveyard, but then it's like you don't feel like you need this card that much. You guys could play 1 and get away with it, but I like having 6 Necros cards, and the other 2 cards, while good, they don't provide the coverage that Mirror does. Cycle allows you to ritual summon from the graveyard, which is really neat. It's limited in the OCG for a reason. It's just a very powerful card. And then Kaleidoscope is the one that allows you to ritual summon by using monsters in your deck, which is insanely powerful because it allows you to ritual summon multiple monsters at once if you use it properly. It's just a really good card, and it gets you into your searchers. That's it for all the ritual cards. The reason why I ran 6 is because the Incantations, some of them do require spells in your hands as opposed to monsters. As well as it just felt really right to run the 2-2-2 ratio and just have all your bases covered. Again, you guys could drop a Mirror, but I wouldn't play an extra Cycle or I wouldn't play an extra Kaleidoscope. So I was like, might as well play 2 Mirror. 3 copies of Called by the Grave. This card replaces Cypher and Gear Gamma. You guys can still run Cypher and Gear Gamma if you want to, but I hate being hand trapped in this deck. This deck hates Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. It hates Effect Veiler. It hates just about every hand trap. So I wouldn't be surprised if you guys wanted to run 3 Called and the 3 Gamma Gamma as well to prevent that from happening. 3 copies of Preparation of Rites. This card's pretty good at searching most of your ritual cards. Prep will get you either your Necros of Colossalus or allow you to search your Brionac, which will search you anything into your deck. It also can recur those ritual spell cards in your graveyard. 2 copies of Extra Foolish Burial. This card's like a heaven sent for the deck. Geldogra is a pretty decent card, but Geldogra requires your normal summon. So this guy is basically Geldogra, can always be activated because you'll always have enough to pay for it and allow you to essentially get another reinforcement of the army. And then we play the 1 copy of Reinforcement of the Army. It's for Colossalus, but you guys could play Colossalus. So it's like, you know, it's one of those situations. I just like this because it was for deck thinning. Again, you can take out the Rhoda for a 3rd Colossalus. It's whatever you guys want. Lastly, for the traps, we play 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. For the people that can't afford Infinite, Effect Veilers are also decent, and Evenly Match is also like one of those cards that are really good inside of this Necros deck if you make it going second. This is a going first / going second build because I do play Cyborg. It does allow me to go first, and if this card resolves, I win the game for free. That's it for the main board. Let me show you guys the extra deck because it's pretty fun, but it's relatively simple and allows you to gain so much advantage if you resolve that Mega Cyborg. Alright, so for the extra deck, these 2 cards nobody really cares about. You don't have to play them. This is just utility. I had 2 extra spots. So Nightmare Unicorn gets rid of cards, it gets rid of threats. It's one of the better link theories in the game. And Nightmare Phoenix to get rid of back row. Other than that, everything else is like a card that you necessarily can't summon, but it's good in the deck. 1 copy of Shooting Quasar Dragon, it's your level 12 target. You can run anything for your level 12 target. 1 copy of Shooting Star. The combo with this used to be way back in the day is that you would ritual summon 2 Necros or Brionacs, use their effects to bounce your opponent's board, use those 2 monsters for an Exceed summon into Insect or Exa Stag, use that to equip the Shooting Quasar Dragon, Exa Stag or Exa Beetle, whatever it was, detaching or sending the Shooting Quasar to the graveyard to get rid of an opponent's card. Quasar's effect would activate and allow you to special summon Shooting Star Dragon for free. So basically you got to ruin your opponent's board and get a free Shooting Star Dragon to your side of the field. Unfortunately, Brionac is at 1, but that was a really insane combo for the deck. 1 copy of Chimera Tech Mega Fleet. In my opinion, this is the best level 10 monster to play inside of the deck because if you do side those Cyber Dragons for those extra deck problems, then here you have it. You can actually just play this card like normal. Cypher Lord Omega, again, another card that you can't necessarily synchro summon into, but you sent it off Omega Zaborg, so you can recycle this and another card back into your deck for further use. That's pretty much it for the high level cards that you would send to the graveyard for your Necros or Kaleidoscope. There is 1 more card, but it comes a part of the engine. I'm going to show you the super secret saucy tech first. 3 copies of Totally Awesome. This is why this card is so spicy. So when you activate and you resolve Mega Zaborg, you send cards from your deck to your graveyard equal to that card's level. The insane thing about this is that when Totally Awesome is sent to the graveyard, you can select water monsters in your graveyard and add them to your hand. I hope you guys' electrons are working perfectly in your brain because yes, all of your Necros monsters are water monsters. So when you send this to your graveyard, you can actually recur those resources, those Necros monsters, from your graveyard to your hand. It puts your opponent in such a bad position because not only did you get rid of their extra deck, you basically reloaded your hand for another spectacular play if you guys so choose. It is insane, and it just wonders how this card works for the deck. 3 copies of Elder Entity Entis. Another saucy card for the deck. The reason why this card's so good is because when it's sent to the graveyard, you can destroy cards on your opponent's side of the field. And then 3 copies of Herald of Arclight. When this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add those ritual monsters or spells from your deck to your hand. So imagine resolving Cypher Lord Omega. You can choose any of these cards, 8 of any of these cards, and send them to the graveyard and resolve all of their effects. Literally, resolving Mega Cyborg should be a priority because once you do, you more than likely will win the game because on top of resolving these effects, you get to destroy cards from their extra deck, which again, you just take out all their good cards. That's it for the main board and the extra deck. Let me show you guys just the quick combos on how you get it done, and you basically would get out of here. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this little 3-card combo is insane. What you're gonna need is a light incantation monster. It does not matter if it's Candle or Pencil Plume. You're gonna need preferably Necros of Colossalus, which is probably another reason just to play 3 in the reinforcement of the army, and the Zaborg. the Mega Monarch. This combo will net you so much advantage. More often than not, you're going to win off of the effect of Mega Zaborg, but I just wanted to show you how much more powerful the combo could be if your opponent decided, or if they could actually continue to play further. What you are going to do is activate the effect of your Necros of Colossalus, pitching it to the graveyard to add from your deck to your hand a ritual spell card as needed from the incantation Candle. So let me go ahead and fetch that ritual spell card. You need the Kaleidoscope. And then next, you're going to activate the Candle, revealing the Kaleidoscope, special summoning itself to the side of the field, allowing you to special summon to your side of the field Necros of Talismandra. Now, Talismandra's effect is going to activate. That's going to add the only monster that you should know how to play is Necros of Unicorn. And right here, your combo can delve into so many different spaces that it is insane. But the first thing you really need to do is activate your Necros of Kaleidoscope, sending from your deck to the graveyard Herald of Arclight to special summon your Necros of Unicorn. Now, Herald of Arclight's effect is going to activate. That's going to give me Necros of Brionac. I'm going to go ahead and discard the Brionac to search any Necros monster from my deck to my hand. I'm going to go ahead and get Necros of Valkyrius because it's such a powerful card. Because even if the combo gets stopped right here at the Zaborg, the Mega Monarch, I feel that the Necros of Valkyrius plus the Necros of Unicorn could, you know, potentially protect you for a turn, giving Necros of Unicorn on your side of the field, as well as giving you other cards to work with your hand. You're going to tribute both the Candle and the Talismandra to normal summon your Zaborg, the Mega Monarch, and then use its effect to target itself. Destroying the Zaborg of the Mega Monarch is going to put your opponent at a really bad position because you tributed a light monster. You get to tell, or you get to say which cards get destroyed in your opponent's extra deck. So if you're playing against Sky Strikers, hit those Kagaris, those Shishukus, hit the entire whole 9. If you're playing against Dark Warriors, hit those Rongos, hit everything that your opponent has. If you're playing against Thunder Dragons, you hit the Colossus, you hit the Thunder Dragons, and you just pray that they don't have any recovery, because that deck has insane amounts of recovery. But that's why we have more cards into the combo sequence. With Zaborg the Mega Monarch, we have to send 8 cards ourselves, and if our opponent has cards on their side of the field, Elder Entity Intis is insane. Blow those cards out of the water. Those Herald of Arclights will also be insane for free searches, and then those 3 copies of Totally Awesome that's just awesome. And then lastly will be that Cyframe Lord Omega. So however you guys want to chain link it, Elder Entity Intis will be last if your opponent has cards to destroy. Herald should always be first, and then Totally Awesome will either be your middle card or your last card. Totally Awesome is going to target Totally Awesome to return itself to the deck. The other 2 Totally Awesomes are going to target your Necros of Colossus and your Necros of Brionac to add them to your hand. Your Herald of Arclights are going to go ahead and add from your deck to your hand Necros of Trishula and Necros of Gungnir, or even if you guys really wanted to, you could add a Necros Mirror and continue this combo sequence, but I felt that having this in your hand plus the other 3 cards to work with is just spice. It'll allow you to basically shut down your opponent. You have the ability to summon Gungnir, search whatever card that you need from there on out. Gungnir can also protect the Unicorn, Trishula on your opponent's next turn, Necros of Colossus to search any ritual spell cards you need, and of course you can either summon your Valkyrius to your side of the field or tribute it or use it to protect the Necros of Unicorn. This combo is just really deadly and put your opponent in a really, really bad position. Okay, so the last portion of this combo isn't necessarily a combo, as you guys would say, but you guys are probably wondering why you're running Shooting Quasar, Shooting Star, and Chimera Tech. For the people that aren't really apt to the Necro strategy, the awesome thing about these 3 cards is that your Necros of Kaleidoscope doesn't really, it allows you to ritual summon multiple monsters, so having that Necros of Unicorn or having that Necros of Colossalus is really important. So for example, if you guys wanted to ritual summon the Necros of Unicorn and your Valkyrius, you would use Kaleidoscope to send Shooting Quasar Dragon to summon both of these bad puppies to your side of the field. If you wanted to go ahead and summon Valkyrius and a Colossus, you use the Kaleidoscope to send the Shooting Star Dragon to send these bad puppies to your side of the field. Or if you just wanted to just summon a monster that is 7 and 3, which happens to be Colossalus and Gungnir, you can use the Kaleidoscope to send Chimera Tech to summon both of these bad puppies to your side of the field. I just thought that I should bring that up because some people don't necessarily understand. Also, for the last combo, you want to use the Cypher Emerald Omega to shuffle one of those cards back into your deck, whether it is the Herald of Arclight or whatever it is, to continue to get a Zaborg off again. Thank you guys so much for watching another segment of the Cali Effect. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and give it a like, and if you didn't, let us know in the comment section what we could do to be better. Please like, comment, subscribe, but most of all, enjoy. I hope you guys are having a great day like I am.